Hello, everyone, and welcome to Star Trek United. Today, we have Commander Xena taking the helm. All right, lady, it's all yours.
I'm taking the helm.
Yeah, you can. I would give you the center chair, but
I didn't think I was doing this one.
no,
Okay.
wait a minute. No, I'm doing it, right? Isn't it supposed to be me?
Yeah. Let it be me.
Yeah, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I was trying to pawn it off because this movie is bittersweet for me. One, as a young man, I wanted to go see this movie. My grandmother had came into town, and the group that I was with, which was the USS Ma'at at the time, Starfleet International, they all went down there to see it, and I couldn't go because my grandmother had flew in at the same time that they were all going down to the theater, so I didn't go. So the next morning, I jumped up, put on my little Star Trek pin, ran down to the theater, and saw this film for the first time by myself. Bought my little souvenir Star Trek cup. I was so proud of myself, and I came out kind of with mixed emotions towards this movie. I'm not too sure what happened. Um, I was thrown by the fact that we got this unknown Vulcan named Cybok that was Spock's brother. Um, Uhura with her fan dance. And we got to see the face of an entity that they believed was God.
Wasn't.
Where to begin as we go down and talk about Star Trek 5? Arguably, well, no. One of the worst Star Trek movies ever. I hate to say it. Um, oh, I forgot one member. There he is, Mr. Rob Ash. I forgot. Sorry, Rob.
I know where we
getting
can
on here. Get you in here, sir. You pop on in when you're ready. But
I know where we can start.
where would you like to start, Dexter? Where?
Huh? With the Wrath of Khan, and Khan should have won.
I don't. All right, so the whole thing opens up with the new Enterprise, right? And how nothing works. And of course, Kirk falls from Yosemite. Da 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 da. Overall, though, where do you guys see this movie? And I'm going to start with Brad.
Oh, this movie. If I have to place it in my list of Star Trek, this one falls second to last. The only one behind it is Nemesis. This movie was poorly written. Of course, there was a writer's strike at the time, which explains half of what happened to the movie. But this was a bad movie. It almost killed the franchise.
All right.
I need my pain.
We're going to get to that. Katala, your thoughts?
I need my pain.
Katala, your thoughts on Star Trek 5?
It is an intriguing movie. The beginning, when Cybok is on that rather unique looking horse, it's kind of unicornish, but not. So it's got its good points and its bad points.
Good points and bad points. Spoken like a true politician, a true ambassador. Sai, give me some clarity on this.
Okay, so a lot of you guys are gonna hate me, but this was the second Star Trek movie that I remember, because when this came out, I think I was about 8 years old. Yeah, and sorry, Dexter. Yeah,
I mean,
you
are you old enough to be in here?
yeah, you can
For
just
real?
mic off. That's
No,
fine.
I just want. I mean,
That's
seriously,
fine.
are you old enough to drink even at this? I mean,
You know what? Are you a Sith? Then why are you still in here? I mean, there's no reason for you to be. It's the wrong franchise, sir.
I'm in here because I'm sorry.
You
Star Wars.
you don't know.
I'm in
You
because
are
Star
sorry.
Wars 8
You are sorry.
is
I'm
better
sorry.
than this
Goodbye.
freaking movie.
Okay.
All right, that's
Man.
why I'm in here.
I actually enjoyed it. It was one of the movies that I saw because honestly, the original series was something that was for my dad, and when he took me to go see this was one of the great things. You know, I can connect with my parents because they loved the original series. I liked it. It wasn't until I was an adult that I found out that some people didn't like this movie. I thought the whole fan dance was kind of silly, but I actually liked it. I really did. And
Okay.
I'm glad I can't hear you, Dexter.
Rob, your take on Star
actually-
Trek 5.
I actually enjoyed it because I like listening to the audiobooks, and I got a lot of backstory on why Kirk gave the whole line about when he was climbing about not dying alone. And I also love that we got to see some of Sulu's piloting skills.
Nice. I too have the audiobooks, and it made it a little bit more palatable. But again, that's us being hardcore fans. So that brings us to the Sith one himself,
Oh Lord.
Lord Dexter of the Uncanny Empire. Please tell us your thoughts of Star Trek 5.
I need my pain. It's what makes me. God, I can't believe I'm with Kirk on this one. Holy cow. Shatner's the worst.
Let it flow through you.
Come on now. We all love the Shat. All right. Commander Xena and Marky Mark, your thoughts on Star Trek 5.
For me, I think it's one of the bottom movies. Star Trek 5. There was a few points that I like about it. I know when it comes on TV, if I see that Star Trek 5 is on, I might think twice before turning to the station to watch it. Unlike maybe 6. If I see 6 is on, I'm gonna watch it immediately. 2, 3. 2009. It was okay. A few positive things, but overall, it is definitely at the bottom of my list. Probably along with Generations, which I didn't like that one.
For me, I only watch it because I would sit down and watch it with her. I do not like the movie. It's okay that they gave Spock a brother, and now they've given him a sister. So you've given him a whole family when he was an only child up until till that point. I know it had bad writing, and then I have to think about you think about, hey, this was, what is it? William Shatner directed this, partially wrote it, and I was hoping that it would have been better than what we got. It's the only thing I can say. There's parts of it that I poke holes at it every time I watch it that I just don't see why they did this, and I try not to do that.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So on the previous show, we were talking about the whole spinning this in a positive way.
Oh, show over.
Yeah, a little bit of trivia
Yeah,
for you.
I don't see I don't see this show going an hour. So
We're done. Good night.
we're gonna try to squeeze at least 20 more minutes in. So let's talk about the fact that the Enterprise A was falling apart and they rushed her out of space dock. I'm gonna go to Simon, who loves his ships. Can Simon give me some insight on the Enterprise A and why it was the way it was?
Honestly, I think it was a conspiracy against Captain James T. Kirk. They didn't want him out there, so obviously they weren't giving that ship much credit, because there's no reason that his ship should be in that deplorable of a condition.
Nope.
I just don't see it. Honestly, I was a little kid when it came out. The only thing I can think of is like they purposely wanted him to fail.
Rob.
Actually, it belonged to another captain, and they took it away from him to give it to Kirk to get him out there, away from Starfleet.
Ooh.
It was
Damn.
a ship that came in that was being repaired, and they renamed it Enterprise and gave it to him just to get him out of the way.
Wait. So it wasn't the original Enterprise? It was renamed the Enterprise? Is that in a book, or is that part of the screen?
It's
play?
in one of the books.
Don't you remember, Simon? The Enterprise was destroyed. The Enterprise was destroyed in Star Trek 3.
Right.
Okay.
Enterprise 1701 blew up. We get Enterprise A at the end of Star Trek 4. And at 5, it's still falling apart. Even though it worked fine at the end of Star Trek 4.
Yeah, see, that's the part that you poke holes at it. Why was it in that bad a shape?
I don't think they were finished doing what they're supposed to be doing with the ship. You know, Kirk just got finished, saving the galaxy, and they wanted him there, but they wanted him kind of far away. This ship was just in space dock. They were doing what they're doing, and here comes Kirk, where we want him close, but we don't want him that close. Let's go ahead and give him this ship. And it just needed more time to get fixed. They just rushed it and gave it to him.
So then I have another question, because they, after this movie, they fixed the ship then, right? Because he used it in 6. So why was it decommissioned at the end of 6?
They were old.
Whatever.
Because it was an original Constitution class that had been upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
It was at
I
the end of his
understand
life.
that, but you spent all that time, because there's no money, but they spent all that time fixing the ship. And
It was at its
crew,
end of life
and
for
then-
that ship.
Yeah, but then now we're just going to decommission this ship again.
It was going to go to
It's just like what they do with real planes. When they get to the end of their lives, they have to decommission them because they're
Yeah.
not sound anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. And the crew, again, I mean, they're old. I mean, let's you know what I mean? And then the ship that you get, that you take from someone else, refit it as best you can to hurry up and get them out of there. Just because you saw it go to warp doesn't mean, because Kirk said, all right, let's see what she got. And when it goes to warp, they cut out. So shortly after it goes to warp, it conks out. And everything's falling apart. They get towed back into port. They're fixing everything up. Kirk is down on Yosemite climbing a rock. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's, of course, we get the whole, I always know I'm going to die alone thing, which is a great thing for Kirk, because in Generations, I'm watching him cross that bridge going, you're alone. You're alone. Oh my God, dude, you're alone. You know what I mean? This is not going to end well for you. And I thought he would die a little bit more heroically than rolling off on that bridge. Of course, then we get his books, which I'm a huge fan of, because that explains everything.
Bring him back and clone him.
Everything. I love that whole series. But this movie with that, and then of course we get the Klingons involved again. Matter of fact, oh wait a minute. Well, let me finish where we were. Your thoughts on the Enterprise, Brad?
The Enterprise, I had a problem with that. It shouldn't have been in that bad of shape. It really shouldn't have. I understand that they pulled Yorktown and renamed it Enterprise and then shoved it out there, but it shouldn't be falling completely apart like that. I mean, nothing worked. Even the turbolift doors didn't work.
Well, that's because
Yeah,
it was
it
in
was
a
in
bad
sad
battle
shape.
beforehand.
Yeah. Oh, it had?
Yeah, when it was still to Yorktown. And that's why it was in Space Dock getting upgraded, because it just came back. I think they were fighting the Romulans or something, and half the crew was killed. And they renamed it and shipped it out with Kirk.
Mm. All right, then. Katala, your thoughts on the Klingons in Star Trek V?
They look better than Discovery.
I look. I'm going to give you a Dexter. That's a low bar. Any Klingons look better than anything from Discovery. But it was Klee? I think his name was
Discovery
Captain
actually have
Klee.
Klingons in it.
Yeah.
Yes, when
Yeah.
we're meeting with the human, the Romulan, and the Klingon enjoying his blood wine, they all met inside the bar, I guess.
Well, remember that's where we get the muscular Klingon woman.
Oh,
that comes-
yes.
I like
Calm
that we
down
actually
there,
got to see the
sir.
cat people
Calm
for the
down.
first time that was in the cartoon.
So, I mean, what did you think of the young, brash Klingon captain and his bird of prey shooting down satellites?
I loved it. I honestly, I thought with him going up against Kirk, because he thought that his career was going to be over, because the confrontation between Starfleet and the Klingon Empire was going to be over. But then he was like, "Oh, this is my chance to prove my name against the great Captain Kirk, who has defeated so many Klingons." Yeah, and then when he had his tail between his leg at the end, that was great. I actually love the Klingon, how he went from adversary to, just a person who admired Kirk, even at the end. I thought that was really good.
Well, I believe it was that fat Klingon that, because you remember Spock talked to him and he told him, he goes,
Yes.
"Damn you, sir, you will
Sure.
try."
Yes.
Remember?
Yes. Yeah, because his battle strategies were required reading at the academy. I remember that scene.
Okay. Commander Xena, Marky, your thoughts on the Klingon commander and his first?
I kind of feel like they were giving any Klingon their own ship. I thought the captain of the ship was just a little lame. He had nothing better to do than to shoot little space junk in space. And I don't know. I considering his Klingon, I think I was maybe comparing him to the other Klingons that we've seen in other movies. And I don't think he was all that, woof, woof. I think they should have made him a stronger captain of a Klingon ship.
Yeah, he was okay. He wasn't anything spectacular. I do like when Kirk was bringing the shuttle back into Bay, and he made that point, we're going to go with Plan B, whatever, so he could get back in the ship. That was smart, and then they immediately went into warp. So Kirk has his moments. I guess him shooting the space junk, he probably needs to be a little bit careful so he doesn't shoot V'ger, at least V'ger 2 or anything else, because there's so many. I was looking at that and I thought, of course there was Star Trek, the motion picture where we get V'ger, but the second season of the original TOS, there was another, space junk or whatever that became autonomous and aware of himself that Kirk had to take.
Nomad.
Merman.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, everything we send out into space becomes autonomous. So you got to watch what you're shooting at.
Oh wow. Okay. Dexter. Your thoughts, Dexter? Did you give your thoughts on the Klingon, sir?
You're pulling Calvin, sir. Your mic isn't on.
I've hit it a couple times. No, I didn't. I don't really have one. But y'all think I have this. I'm so dark. Look at this little dude. How can I be so dark-hearted and have this little guy right here?
Padme and Anakin.
Padme and Anakin.
That's Padme. You're Anakin.
I don't like this side.
I know.
All right.
That is so funny.
So if there's one thing though we can agree on is that we have this great friendship. These three spend all this time out in space together. They go on shore leave together. They're camping. And as Rob said, the marshmallow maker
Yeah.
that Spock pulls out because he had looked up camping. The movie started with them at the beginning in the park, and it ends with them singing "Row, row, row your boat." Perfect.
Row Your Boat by Albie Graham from Spotify.
Ziggy, no, cancel. I don't.
That's funny.
Oh my God, my Alexa just went off, and she was going to sing "Row, row, row your boat." So anyway, you still get this great sense of camaraderie, even though we break in with Sybok. This is the first time that Spock is introduced with some type of other sibling. Then, of course, years later, we would be troubled with Michael Burnham. It's really hard to be a fan when you pull stuff like that. Give me your thoughts on Sybok.
Why are we still talking about this? Oh, I'm not unmuted. Sorry.
Brad, your thoughts on Sybok?
I didn't have a problem with Sybok. I mean, yeah, he was introduced as a character for somebody who didn't have any siblings, but all of a sudden now you've got Sybok. So here he comes, and he's got a special power to relieve everybody's pain. Okay, but if you take the pain away, why did they automatically make you a slave to Sybok to follow him? All you do is take your pain away.
Very good point. Very good point. And I have to admit, though, in Strange New Worlds, we get to see Sybok again, and I kind of like that he's introduced now kind of early. But how does that? I mean, even if we get to see what happens later down the road, I don't know how they're going to really, introduce that as far as the show goes. If they kind of get him to escape and start that whole little rebellion thing up, I think the timeline gets a little polluted. But I digress. Sai, your thoughts on Sybok?
Honestly, I like this character. I thought he's really like a cult leader, but then I realized he was more like a person who thought he had all the answers, and then at the very end he realized, oh shit, I'm wrong, and I've led all these people down the wrong path, and he made up for it by sacrificing himself in order to save everyone, including his brother, who he probably loved a lot more than Spock realized.
Okay. Always come through with something special from you. I like the cut of your jib, sir.
It's probably how young I am.
Look at Dexter.
Yeah. I said that just for Dexter. I said that just for Dexter.
Katala, your
Yep.
thoughts on Cyborg?
First thing you see is that he's laughing and smiling, so that's something untowards for a Vulcan, but he probably gets people to follow him because he does take their pain away and they want to stay close to that source that can numb or remove that bit of pain in them.
Commander Xena?
How did he take their pain away? I never got how he was able to do that. That
They drink the
really
Kool-Aid.
didn't make any sense. Huh?
They drank the Kool-Aid.
They had to.
Don't you remember when Spock did it to Kirk about Edith Keeler? He's Vulcan. He didn't really take it away. He just made them forget about it.
Yeah, okay, so that
Okay.
I
okay.
still don't think, because when they showed the scene with Dr. McCoy killing his father, assisted suicide, and then they come up with the cure, that's supposed to be, oh, my pain is now gone?
Yeah, you would feel worse knowing
Right.
if you would have waited 3 weeks that my father would have been alive.
I'm like, that was just, to me, that's not taking pain away. That's just, you dealt with it. You know,
Later.
yeah, everybody deals with pain at a later time. Like
Well,
Batman
like I
says,
said,
that makes
you
me
know,
who I am.
with him being Vulcan, it has to be some type of suppressor. Because Kirk, remember now, Edith Keeler, he couldn't get over that, and Spock told him, you know what I mean, made him either forget it or suppressed it in such a way that he could deal with it and then move forward with it. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm with you guys on that. I kind of was like, you know, why would you even, you know, as a writer, why would you even come up with something like that? Not going back to Star Trek lore and making them either forget completely about it, but like you said, okay, well, yeah, but everybody has to deal with that type of thing in their own way. Why would you know what I mean? It was kind of rough area.
They were given a project and said, we need the writing in 2 weeks. That's all you got.
And that's what it seems like, because considering the three, you know, were so close from the other movies and the TV shows, and for Spock never said anything that he had an older brother, just no matter how many times I've seen this movie, it just doesn't make sense to me. These other two men are your best friends, your brothers, and you never say anything. We're not even gonna talk about Michael, you know, but you never said anything. Come on.
That was kind of the problem I had with it too, because I sat there and I'm like, and then he goes, well, the records were sealed, and effectively that made him not part of my family. And I'm like, that's semantics, Spock. You know the difference between semantics.
Yep.
Come on. I mean,
Even
seriously.
Kurt called him out on it. I happen to know
Yeah.
you don't have a brother. Well,
Yeah.
he's-
Half brother, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that I just think that's lazy writing again. So, but
You know, so I mean, it's not lazy writing has not just been a new thing here in all these new movies that we've been getting, except for some of the foreign films, because Godzilla -1 is just it's just, even for those of us who hate to read as we watch a movie, was phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
yes.
So I mean, they've
That's-
got to be able to do something a little bit better than what they're doing. I am still hopeful for Strange New Worlds. I cannot wait for us to actually really deep dive into Strange New Worlds, because that seems to be picking up and getting better. Although I wish Pike would get a little bit more of a, you know.
Balls.
Yes, because this
Like Kirk said,
staring off like he's lost and he's the commander of a ship blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So what does God need with the starship?
Well, apparently he can't get through the barrier, and he needs a starship to get through the barrier.
Yeah,
You
that
know
was
why he was called Shakari?
Why?
Because originally Sean Connery was supposed to play him, and they couldn't get him,
Oh.
Oh.
Really?
and they did that as
And
a
look, and
homage.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know if seeing old Sean Connery and that voice of his, you know, I don't
Yeah.
know. That thing,
The guy that didn't know how to pronounce hobbits correctly. The hobbits. Yeah. Yeah.
the god of Shakari. I don't think Shakari. I don't know. Oh God. No, I think that would have made the movie even worse.
Yep.
It would have.
I mean, that's just like Highlander 2. Oh my God, they bring Ramirez back. Maria is back, and I'm sitting there going, why? Why did you make this movie? What was the whole purpose?
Did I find that last
And then they set him up to try to come back for Highlander 3. That was no. Oh my God! But I mean, that was an interesting little tidbit you gave us there, Rob.
Yes, that was.
I don't know, guys. That whole thing. I mean, to be honest with you, I think Star Trek V is kind of one of the ones you can just kind of throw away out of the series.
Yeah.
Not even bother to watch. You know what I mean? I hate to say it. I used to defend this movie vigorously against my friends. I think because, I mean, it was Star Trek. It was one of the few things that we still had left at the time before Next Generation came back in. And I'm with Vonda. I am not a big Next Generation movie fan. That first movie, Generations,
I liked it. I thought it was great.
Here's that youth again.
Yeah.
I mean, First Contact. I will even take.
Nemesis. Yeah, I was gonna say Nemesis.
No, not Nemesis. What's that other one?
That was the worst one.
Insurrection.
I'll take that one.
Insurrection.
Way.
Insurrection.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Insurrection was nothing but a 2-hour episode that they could have done on TV.
True.
I'm watching 24 hours of Jar Jar Binks back to back before I watch.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do that.
Oh my God. God, 24 hours of Jar Jar Binks.
That's bad.
That's
That's bad. That's really
that's
bad.
really bad, man. Look, I don't even have a comeback for that. I'm sitting here kind of dumbfounded. But okay, so the Great Barrier, the Klingons come in, Enterprise, they kill the beast. And the gunner, Kirk is down there by himself. Remember, he gets stranded on the planet. This is where he's afraid that he's going to die. And the fat Klingon says, Kirk, I want you to meet our gunner. And it's Spock. I think this is the best line throughout the whole movie. Not in front of the Klingons.
Yeah.
Okay. That broke out the whole little theater that was with me. I laugh, and every time I live for that scene. That one scene in that movie where he's getting ready to hug him, he's like, Captain, not for So all in all, let's just call it what it is. This is a bad movie.
It's a great movie.
I'm sorry, Cy. I'm
No.
sorry.
No. Don't ruin my childhood.
Hey, look, people versus George Lucas. I thought Star Wars.
Is Cy throwing down the Dexter Gauntlet now?
Look,
maybe.
I'm telling you now, if you haven't seen this, go watch The People versus George Lucas. I used to think that Star Trek fans were crazy. That ain't nothing compared to Star Wars fans. But then again, if you dwell in the Klingon fandom, you'll see some stuff that'll just blow your mind.
Yep.
Some of the most toxic fans are the Klingon fans because they can't even unite amongst themselves. Although in the TV show, the most proudest and the most, I don't know, happiest thing you could ever say is that we are Klingons. We are together. We are united. But the fandom isn't.
Yeah.
And it's just sad that you have that. Kantala and I come both from broken Klingon fandoms. And we got a nice little tight-knit group of people to produce a fandom group. We have all these shows. We have 2 shows that we do for it. But when it comes to the fandom, it's just sad how it's broken. I've always wanted that friendship like Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. They're the best of friends. They're the epitome of what I always thought my friendship should be. You have something to say, Tyler?
Just to say the Klingon fandom is like the Klingon great houses. There are alliances. Alliances are made and broken, and sometimes houses will sabotage each other.
You got them darn Romulan collaborators.
You're muted, Calibus.
We found a few Romulans in our midst. I'm still putting the pieces back on United, trying to get that storyline back together. But I have to admit, I've been flabbergasted with the last response of everything with the Priory of the Phoenix. And then, of course, we had Convivio, and we had such a great time there. And then, of course, I hooked up with Rob to start trying to bring us together a little bit stronger in what we're doing. So tomorrow I will be back putting up the storyline in United. I thought I was going to be cruel and kill people. I still might. I haven't decided yet. But I really want to have more of that friendship thing. I really want to push, getting our fandom back together, because it's all we have as fans, especially us as older fans, not like that young guy that's down there that likes bad movies.
What?
But we can all agree on this. Star Trek is one of the better franchises that is out there as far as sci-fi goes. We have so much love for it. It is a main staple in sci-fi. Even though it is, I guess, going in a different route than we would like most of the time, there is still some good in it, and we'll all keep fighting for it. You know what I mean? We have Katala looking into some authors. There's a guy that wrote the Benjamin Sisko biography. We're looking into trying to get him. And for those of you who are DS9 fans, I think that'll be a great show. I think you guys will enjoy that.
That's going to be awesome.
But
Yes.
most definitely, DS9 is definitely one of my favorite shows. I love my Klingon stuff. You guys saw me as my Klingon thing. Every time that I think I'm going to get away from it, I get pulled back in. I feel like I'm in a bad mob movie. You keep saying I'm not going to do it, but there I am. But guys, again, we can agree that this was it's part of the franchise. It's just something that we all won't have to watch anymore.
I just love that we got to see we hadn't seen since the animated series, the cat people. We got to see one in the bar.
Yes.
Oh,
Lieutenant Morris.
Oh, another thing is we got to see our first toilet in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Because everybody says, they do it, but they just don't show it. And now they're showing it everywhere, right? And just about every ship now, you actually get to see a toilet, because it freaked me out seeing it in The Mandalorian. I was like, is that a toilet? Yes, it's a toilet. All right, so Star Trek 6. Who's doing Star Trek 6?
Nobody.
Nobody's going to do Star Trek 6.
I can do it. I like
Thank
Star
you.
Trek.
Thank you. I was
Okay.
hoping Katala, because that's a whole Klingon episode movie.
Oh, do you want to do it?
I can share it with you.
I'll let you two work it out if you guys want to share, or Vonda if you want to do it. But I think we'll do that one, and then I think we're going to take a break for a week so we can all get on the same schedule as far as all the shows go, and then plop them out like that. So this is right, Mark? I think that's what we were talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. So
We can
Star
figure
Trek
out
6.
Yeah.
Star Trek 6. Wrath of Khan and Star Trek 6, so close to call.
Baptism of blood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just that's the
Great
standard.
ending. So you got
Yes.
to see them one last time before they stopped, and I think that was perfect before everybody started passing away. So,
Yeah. Yeah. All right then, guys. We will reconvene next week as. Oh no, Vonda, that'd be pulling double duty for you.
Yep.
You want? I'll take Star Trek 6 for you. That way, I give you a break, unless you really
Okay.
want it.
But I'm
You-
not
okay, I'll-
doing Generations.
We're gonna get that one to Marky Mark. He always keep telling us to do these movies. None of us wanted to keep boldly going into this area, but I will take on Star Trek 6, one of the best in the franchise. Katala, you will co-host with me. So, and I will be in Klingon gear for this one. So, if we're doing the Star Wars one before this, I will be in silhouette because I'm not going to be wearing all that stuff into 2 shows. So, I'll be in gear as we talk about Star Trek 6.
I mean, you do
One
know what
of
you
not
do know
the
what
best.
movie we're talking about. So, I mean, would it really matter?
Oh my gosh. Somebody
Yeah,
fire a
yeah.
torpedo at that man.
Yeah, you definitely got to see that one at least, Dexter.
Yeah.
Needs one up the exhaust.
That's a
All
little
right,
too
guys.
personal.
Hang out after we do this so we can discuss what we're going to do. And for those of you watching, thank you very much. Thank you for welcoming back Star Trek United. We are back, and we will be back next week with Star Trek 6.
Please subscribe and hit that notification bell, and thanks.